What's up, Internet? Cory Zamier here, collecting with Cory. It's time to take a look at my towering into the frame 3DS collection. Let's go. Alright. The 3DS. Holy shit, what a system. Probably, until the Switch, the best handheld system that they've ever made. I'll put my fucking stamp of approval on that. Technically, the Switch, for some people, wouldn't even be considered a handheld console, but given that I've never plugged it into my TV, it is to me, and given that two of the best games I've ever played of all time are on the Switch, I think it's finally kind of knocking the 3DS out of that top handheld spot, but this is still a system that I fucking love with all my heart. I have, oh, it's actually right here. How convenient. My pride and joy. My Pikachu 3DS XL. Story on that is I got that at a Target right before work when I believe 3DS XLs were on sale for like $150? $160, I think it was. I think it was $160, which was like $40 off. And I actually found two of them, and the reseller in me, the recouper in me, had to pick up both, and I basically got mine for $40 after everything was said and done, after I resold one. Absolutely love the system. It's been hard. I've actually been looking into upgrading to a new 3DS XL or a new 2DS XL, but for me, on a handheld like that, it's all about how cool the special edition is. There is a Pikachu new 3DS XL that I have my eye on, but I just can't spend the money on it right now. But enough about that. Let's take a look at the games I got. And I've actually played some of these. Oddly enough, a handheld that I love, I've played some of these. First up, we have Adventure Time. Hey, Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage? This is actually a pretty fun game. I have a vague understanding of what Adventure Time is, and I've actually played through and beat this game. It was that much fun. It has been compared to Adventures of Link. Legend of Zelda 2 Adventures of Link on the NES. It's kind of a side-scroller that has an overmap of the whole world that you travel through, and then you go into stages, fight stuff in that 2D side-scrolling view, and it's a lot of fun. I'd highly suggest checking it out. Next up, we have, I believe, the third game in the series for Adventure Time, The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. And I'll be honest, I haven't played this. I heard this one was more like A Link to the Past, though. It's kind of interesting. Just because it's in order, I usually hold the collector's editions for last, but I do have the second game, Explore the Dungeon, because I don't know. It's sealed in like the collector's edition packaging. I never got around to playing it. Alright, next up we have Angry Birds Star Wars, a game I've actually put a considerable amount of time into because back when I first got a smartphone, that was the first thing I got all the Angry Birds games you could fucking imagine. Angry Birds Star Wars, Angry Birds Rio, which was a movie I'd never even seen, but I wanted more Angry Birds. I was fucking addicted. Like, give me the fucking Angry Birds, man. You know? So when I came across this for like $4, I had to pick it up, and I played through most of it again. Next up, we have Dead or Alive Dimensions. Interesting fighting game. I've mentioned in the Vita collection that I don't think Dead or Alive is that intricate of a fighting game, which is good for me because I'm not that intricate of a video gamer. I don't play a whole lot of games, and I think that one's more up my alley, to be honest. Next up, we have a game that was a gift from the best Patreon backer in the history of Patreon backers, Todderbert. Gave this as an early Christmas present. Ever Oasis. Haven't gotten a chance to open it up, but I've been busy with YouTube lately, especially now that I'm doing all these collection videos, and I'm still working on finishing Rayman Legends, so maybe after that I can finally get to this game. Next up is a game I heard of on a Metal Jesus Rocks video, I believe. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Shadow Wars. Kind of like a strategy RPG kind of style game. Maybe not RPG, but strategy, tactical RPG kind of. I keep saying RPG, it's not an RPG. I don't think it's an RPG. Tactical strategy game. I don't know. Check it out. Next up, one of the best games on the system in my opinion, Fire Emblem Awakening. When I first got the system, and it's all the way over there, so I'm not going to show it, I had, or I still have, I just don't use it anymore, the Fire Emblem Awakening Special Edition 3DS. That was the first 3DS I had, and it came pre-installed. I eventually picked this up separately because I wanted to play it on my 3DS XL, and this game is awesome. Of all the 3DS Fire Emblem games, I think this one is the best. They kind of try and switch it up every iteration of Fire Emblem they come out with on the 3DS, whether it's a remake or a new game. Fates handled exploration differently, I believe, and which one? Echoes also handled it differently. So I don't know. I think out of the three, this one's the best. Speaking of which, Fire Emblem Echoes. This was the most recent Fire Emblem game released for the 3DS, and I actually got the big ass limited edition that's almost so awkwardly big that I have no idea what to do with it. Once I start running out of room in my collection, it's really going to be a fucking hassle. Like, it's hard to display. I kind of have it just chilling next to Mighty Max's castle over here, and all my Game of Thrones books. Just kind of, that's where it gets nestled. Fits in right over here. Just like that. Alright, so the next game, of course, because, you know, that's how we roll, and that's how the alphabet works. Fire Emblem Conquest and Fire Emblem Birth Rate. Birth Rate? The birth rate in this game is insane, is what I'm talking about. People are popping out kids left and right. It's crazy. But I actually mean Birthright. Fire Emblem Fates. I never ended up downloading Revelations because I beat Birthright and got like halfway through Conquest and kind of had a little bit too much of the Fire Emblem for it then. Next up is a game that Alicia's actually played a decent amount more than I have. The only times I've played Triple Deluxe for Kirby is when she needs help beating a section. Next one is one that maybe someday I will find it somewhere in my desire to play Ocarina of Time. Now, mind you, this game came out at a time when I used to hang out with my best friend at the time, Alan, and he had an N64, and he loved to play RPGs and Zelda and stuff like that. I watched him play the entirety of this game, start to finish. So it's not like I don't know. It's just that I don't know with the controller in my hand. I understand it's a great game. I'm trash at it because I never actually held the controller, never played it, you know. Next up, we have 5 games that might not be too long for this collection. Lego Batman 2. This is the only one of the Lego games out of these that I've actually played a little bit of. I think I played like the first level. And I said, So I might be trimming these Lego games out of my collection. Lord of the Rings, Marvel Superheroes, Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't even like these movies. Why do I have this game? This one is actually a pretty recent pickup for me. Little Battler's Experience. I don't know much about it. Looks like you battle little robots. Mario Golf World Tour. Never really got into the Mario Tennis games, but this is Mario Tennis Open. Looking forward to what they do with the Switch version that's coming out later this year. Supposed to be adding some of those RPG elements that the old, what was it, Game Boy Advance games had for the golf one. I don't know. Seem to remember hearing something like that. Missed. Naruto Powerful Shippuden. I got this pretty cheap. I actually kind of wanted to get it at launch because I was on like a Naruto kick when it came out, I believe. I was like watching some of Shippuden back then, like trying to finish it off, I think. And it's a Naruto game. What do you want? Paper Mario Sticker Star, probably the weakest in the series from what I've heard. And Holy Pokemon. Holy shit, I have almost all the Pokemon games on the 3DS, at least the ones that matter. We got Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Oh, these are in alphabetical order. Pokemon Moon. Pokemon Sun. Omega Ruby. Rumble Blast, I've never actually played that one. Ultra Sun, which I've burned out on recently. X, and of course, Y. Of those, I think X and Y are probably the best. I was on like the Sun and Moon hype train when they came out last year or the year before. And to be honest, playing Ultra Sun recently, like around Christmas time, I'd rather go back to X and Y, to be honest. I like the training for the Pokemon better in this. I felt like you had more of a grasp on it. Given I've never gotten that deep into competitive battling, but I think it was a little bit better designed in that game. Next up we have Project X Zone, still sealed. Game that I would think would be worth money, but for some reason, like, no one wants this. These you can find cheap, like, anywhere. Including the second game, which I'm surprised they even came out with in the United States. Next up, pretty expensive game, Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasures. Kind of a rhythm game, never played it, hope to soon. Scribblenauts Unlimited. Shinobi, with a really cool shiny cover. Shovel Knight, a game that I wish I could be better at, but I'm not. And it frustrates the hell out of me. I think I was fighting Scythe Knight or something, and I almost broke my fucking 3DS. Super Mario 3D Land. I should probably go back to this one. If I enjoyed 3D World that much, I'm a decent way in there, but never finished it. Super Monkey Ball 3D. Staple in any handheld collection is a Monkey Ball game. Smash Brothers 3DS. If I had a new 3DS, I'd probably be a little bit happier with it because the Smash moves would be easier to pull off, but, you know. We got Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call. I'm just kind of blowing through these because, for one, I don't have an opinion on them. And two, I don't know if I will ever be able to form an opinion on them because I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to play them anytime soon, so who knows. Ultimate NES Remix. I played a little bit of this as a download on the Wii U back in the day. Kind of interesting. Yokai Watch. Now that's a motherfucking game right there. Or as my friends in Canadian Justice like to call it, what do they call it? Digi-Poke Watch game. You know, I forget. Like, in the comments below, Danny, Rob, leave me what you guys have called this bullshit titled game that I love so much in the past. Like, when I'm talking about Yokai Watch, they'll, like, call it Digimon, they'll call it Pokemon, they'll call it whatever, you know. I absolutely love the first Yokai Watch game. Unfortunately, the second one kind of missed its stride. I'm right at the end of it, and to be honest, I feel like the game hasn't even started yet, which is weird. And it's kind of like a weird feeling where it's like I don't even want to continue because, like, I've been kind of waiting for my party to become something I'm actually proud of, and I just have like 3 yokai that I'm like cool with, and then the other 3 are just like, And I just kind of stopped playing it once I realized that was like right at the end. Next up, all my collector's editions. This one got pretty... I didn't get this cheap. I got this in a trade with Ted. Chibi Robo Ziplash. Probably the cheapest collector's edition for a 3DS you can find. It just has the amiibo in it, and no one really bought it because the game was not good. This one was unfortunate. I remember I raged at, I think it was Best Buy or Walmart, because they shipped this in like a plastic bag. Really light, very flimsy box. Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth, the Wild Cards Premium Edition. And this box is all jacked up. It doesn't look as bad on film, but like in person you can tell that they fucked this thing. Next up is a game that I never opened, picked up because it was part of the amiibo craze. Mega Man Legacy Collection. Probably the game on the system that I would play it on if I ever did want to play through the Mega Man game, so I'm happy to have it, but as you can see, it's still factory sealed, so that hasn't happened yet. And the last two games in my collection, we have the special steelbook for New Super Mario Bros. I don't remember what this is from. I've had this for a very long time, before I even started the channel, I think. And RPG Maker Fess. I don't know why I have this. I think I saw a Facebook listing that this special edition game was coming out for RPG Maker Fest, a 3DS exclusive. And I was just like, oh, let me buy it, let me buy it. And then I got it in the mail, and I was just like, I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to make any RPGs on a 3DS. Like, what the fuck am I thinking? I just wasted my money on it. I don't know. And it's also worth a lot less than I paid for it, so it's like, I don't know. For the 3DS, games I would want in my collection, games I want to pick up for my collection. That's actually tricky because I can't think of anything that's like uncommon that I couldn't just walk into GameStop and just pick up. I would say, instead of for a game, I would say one thing I would like is to get a new Nintendo 3DS. Preferably that Pikachu one that came out a while ago. Still around $200 used, which is a little bit expensive for a system that I technically don't need, but it would be nice to be able to play the Pokemon games without any lag, which is the main thing I would need it for. That's going to do it for my 3DS collection. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, keep it real, Internet. I love you guys.